Welcome to the show.
Mic check, mic check. What's up, everybody? As always, it's your boy Joshua Freeman. To my left, I got Mr. Bryan Carey. To my right, I got Mr. Desmond Tillman.
Greetings, greetings.
Welcome back to the Infusion Breakdown Show. How you guys been?
Great.
Bro, it's been
Looking forward
good.
to this episode.
You say you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
2019 done started off to be a good year, so we gonna.
You mean 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, don't go backwards, man.
We can't go backwards. 2020 started off as it's been a good year so far. 14 days into it, but it's looking bright.
Don't forget about the timestamps in the description below. Bryan put those together. Then you taking off the headband. I haven't said the headband. You taking off the durag. Whoa. I was like, wait, whoa. Something's wrong here. Okay, got a little surprise of the 50th episode.
New year, old me.
When'd you get it cut?
Last Saturday.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I had a multitude of reasons. But the last one being I had a dream I had short hair again.
And
I went and cut it.
Interesting. But yeah, don't
telling you something.
But yeah, don't forget about the timestamps in the description below. Bryan put those together. Also, we are taking a break. We won't be back until April, so I know you're gonna be missing the breakdown, but hey, just watch the previous episodes.
We have plenty of content for you to watch.
Exactly.
We'll be reposting and sharing throughout, and hopefully distilling that down into smaller bits where it's more digestible for you in the meantime.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
But what we have on the docket today. So first, we're gonna discuss our favorite episode. Yeah.
Let's do a recap. What do
Like
we enjoy?
I mean, it's the 50th episode,
Yeah.
so I mean,
This
might
is
as well.
pretty big. Like, we've been doing this for over a year. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Like, we started back in 2018. Around August, we started shooting pilots.
August, September.
Well, September is when we first started airing them.
Oh, okay.
We had plenty of episodes that we had shot before then.
Oh yeah, we did take like a month for
Just getting the feel of stuff and getting synergy.
Yeah.
Desmond, what about you? What was your favorite episode?
Do you have a favorite episode?
Don't throw me under the bus. Yeah, so my favorite episode has been one of our more recent ones. I think we kind of talked towards the end of December. It was the Harsh Truths episode 48, which harsh truths you come to accept or ignore. I feel like that was really one of the more insightful and impactful episodes that I feel like we've produced, just because it kind of goes hand in hand to where I'm currently at as a person. I feel like that one applied like hand in hand with, you know, things that I've come to accept within my personal life and how I've chose to accept it, and then what I'm gonna do moving forward to, you know, rebrand myself or, you know, rewire my mind or whatever it may be. But I think, you know, if you ever go back and you watch episode 48, it's a really, really good episode. I think we did a good job of, you know, giving it its due diligence as far as breaking down what our harsh truths were, and, you know, agreeing, whether it was agreeing to disagree or completely agreeing with each other. I thought there was a lot of continuity in the episode.
Okay.
What you guys think?
To be honest with you, I don't really have a favorite episode. Like, I like a lot of episodes, but I don't really have a favorite. My I did pick like a few out. I picked the religion episode out, the one we did about which one, whether it separates us more or whether
I think that was a week before, 2 weeks before, so that is episode 46.
46, 47.
Yeah, I really like that episode because I feel like we definitely went through all we really had to go through as far as like the knowledge and talking about how religion impacts people, like the different type of, you talk about weaponized religion, so just what we did, what we talked about on that episode, definitely. I also like the one with the Jay-Z conversation, when you talk about the NFL, because I felt like that was very knowledgeable too, because I wanted to know what he exactly was going to do. You guys informed me what he was going to do as far as like going into the neighborhoods, and maybe it's paid off as we talk right now from the
episode 30, if you want to go back and watch that one.
Yeah, so I like those two episodes. Other than that, I like all the episodes where we talk about relationships, to be honest with you, because I feel like I learned something. I feel like it puts me back on track, to be honest with you, because when I come to these talks, lately it's just been like kind of therapeutic, where you just learn, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna try to apply this to my life, and then see how it goes. And then when we come back, like every Sunday or every other Sunday, whatever, you kind of remind it, like, okay, let me go back to doing this. I don't want to fall back into my habit. But just basically every episode where we talked about relationships, I really like, to be honest with you.
Facts.
That makes me really happy to hear that you find that you yourself draw value from what you do.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I feel the same way. It's like I come here and it's a learning experience. Like, we're just not putting content. We're not putting on a facade to pretend that we're three guys that have all the answers and know everything. That's never been my goal. That's never been your goal or your goal from all my knowledge. The idea of us doing this is to sit down and discuss the ideas we have and try to bring ourselves closer towards the truth and kind of like just hash things out. And I feel like we get a little bit closer to where we want to be in our lives every week.
That's true.
And I really appreciate you guys for sharing your knowledge with me. It's been a wonderful ride, and look forward to the future.
Of course. What's your favorite?
So my answer is multifaceted, of course. So there's two different ways I looked at it. The most fun I've had on the episode was hands down episode 25, FaceApp, Colonies, and A World Without Emotions with Tanner and Rome, or AJ, or Antny Rome, whatever you want to call him, Mr. 20 Names. Shout out. But yeah, I just had so much fun on the episode, and I really enjoyed the subject matter. For example, like when we're talking about a world without emotions, that particular topic, it forced us to think about a hypothetical situation and apply our current context to it. So like, how would the world be different without emotions? We don't really have anything to compare it to. We don't have a civilization of people with no emotions. It's like part of the human condition that comes built into us. And just seeing how we were able to, we all had different takes on it, but just exploring like hypothetical situations and staying grounded in and kind of like just pushing boundaries. I really enjoyed that. And then also like when we played Cards Against Humanity with them, that was like probably the best game we've had. Because you remember when Tanner had the card about poverty?
I forgot exactly.
I'll share the clip. You'll see it. But the most learning, I would say, was it transpired during this past series that we just did, so 47, 48, 49. Those 3 episodes together, I felt they were really powerful because they built upon each other. So like you just said, well, the first one was Should Human Nature Be Changed? Then it was 47, Which Harsh Truths Have You Come to Ignore or Accept? And then 49 was Love, Loss, and Possession. And so throughout those, I feel like they kind of brought everything full circle for my personal development. And I feel like even between like the last episode we shot and now, I feel like I'm in a different space mentally. And like the way I perceive things and go about conducting myself in terms of like being more introspective and being more, I guess taking more initiative when it comes to what I want. And like just worrying about manifesting like good input, because like if you do the best you can, you know that you gave good input, you get a shitty answer or a shitty result, you know it wasn't your input, you know it was the situation. So I feel like for my personal development, those 3 episodes really consolidated a lot of that and kind of like drove a lot of change, like in terms of like me reconciling with things in my past and moving forward.
No, yeah, no doubt. Like when I talk about the relationship stuff, like when I say what I was learning, just like learning to be selfish, like what Desmond always talk about, just learning to look after myself first rather than just like trying to see what everybody else is doing and trying to look out after everybody. Like think about myself first, you know what I mean? So to basically being having that selfish link that, but I don't want to be pure evil though. So that's like,
I think it's given selfish, or it's given the title of selfish, even though it's not truly selfish. And reason why I'll say that is because just over time, like just becoming a parent, being a young parent at that, like I was actually talking to one of our good friends earlier today, and I feel like just about everybody that I've known has gone through a midlife crisis at 23. Like I don't know what it is, like 23 is supposed to be your Jordan year, but anybody that has stood for something has gone through something like testing when they turn 23. And for me, I had, Lucas was born two months before my 23rd birthday, and then through 23 it was a very, very, turbulent year because I was like the worst of my depression and all of that. And then so I think like what I had told her was, you never really like understood, because there's this quote from Drake on Paris Morton Music. It's like, 23 and going through a midlife crisis, but trust me, I still deliver like a midwife. And no, I'm not saying I'm the nicest. I just live life like it. Hearing that it was probably around 2010. So hearing that at 15 or 16, I didn't understand it. I was like, what the hell does this mean? Like, you know, when you think of midlife crisis, you think 40 years old. And then when you actually like go through stuff as an adult and realizing that all you have is your mind to control and, you know, your thoughts at the end of the day. Like, it's a really, really testing time because you feel like you should have everything figured out. But at the same time, you only feel that way because you're comparing yourself. And then so for me, it took 2 years to ground my thoughts and realize that I can't truly take care of my son unless I take care of myself. Mm-hmm. If I keep neglecting my mental and I'm not putting forward the effort to manifest what it is I want out of life, then I'm going to be that what if parent. Like, what if I would have put in a little bit more time studying? What if I would have chased my goals and actually done that? So it's not selfish, but it's viewed as selfish when it comes to a relationship because it's like everything is on pause for you. Mm-hmm. And I think I got to that point to where it's just like anything that's not directly involved or linked to me has to be put on pause until I get to that point to where like I have an endless amount of gratitude for the effort that I put into stuff, because I felt like the universe will always work in unison to make things work in your best interest if you're living right. So first I had to like say, okay, what are my toxic traits? I had to break them down. Now we've had a previous conversation about, you know, just toxic traits and, you know, how they impact other people and then how they impact ourselves. So having that conversation, I was able to think back and look, okay, I'm not thinking about it consciously, but it's a subconscious thought now. Like, I'm thinking about it. If I recognize it when it happens, then I'm going to pick it out. Like, I don't ever do it intentionally. I just notice it as it happens. And I'm like, all right, what's going to happen is it's going to get to a point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then you address the toxic traits. I did that. And then it got to the point where, like, okay, I'm no longer doing stuff with purpose. I need to now find stuff that involves purpose. And so I told my mom, like, you know, when it got to the podcast, there was a time where I just wanted to say, like, mentally I just can't keep doing it. But I challenged myself and I said, I made an agreement, you know, you want to think about 18 months ago now. Yeah, about 18 months ago that we were going to do it and we were going to carry it out. And that's been like me holding myself accountable. So we had a conversation about accountability. So even though like these conversations have came later on, you know, in the series, it's been stuff that like I applied before. So I'm able to provide a little bit of insight because I'm testing myself as we're talking about these topics. And it's never, it's like, it's never intentional. It's just like stuff that flows. So it got to a point where I wouldn't even view the questions until I got here because I knew it was something that I was currently practicing, unless it was like a current event. And if it was a current event, then I'd read something in between my sets while I'm working out. But, you know, it's definitely been a fun, I think I was absent for like 5 episodes, so it's been a fun 45 episodes for me. But, you know, we're going to take a break. We're going to get some more experience, have more experiences. And then for me, I'm going to study for the LSAT and, you know, do things with purpose.
Cool. Lots of great things coming.
Yeah. No doubt. Do you have any other episode that catch your eye?
Any other ones?
I think the first episode was a really good episode.
That was the one.
Yeah, that was
that was a good episode.
It was one of your relationship episodes. The exact, because we got a lot. That was
Is it about being loved or to be loved?
Talking about the very first episode.
Yeah, it was. Is it harder to love or is it harder to be loved? And you know, the second question is like the climate change part of it. But I feel like question number 1 was like, okay, we're here. Like, we can have conversations as three men and not sound full of testosterone. Like, we can actually break stuff down.
You're going to set the tone for what we do. It's like we're realistic depictions of ourselves. We're not caricatures.
Yeah.
And trying to put on some kind of facade or anything like that. So, I mean, I do see, like, why you would say that episode. That one, I guess just because of how far we are from that, I wouldn't say that was my favorite.
I would say it's only my favorite because it's like, damn, look how far we've come.
I do have respect for the episode, though. you have to. Because, like you said, it's the first. I did like, just having, like, obviously with us shooting, like, you're the team. And all of our episodes are great. But I really like when we have guests as well. because I feel like that injects a new energy to it. Mm-hmm. And so, like, anytime that Leanne or Dondre or KJ or my boy Derek, shout out to Derek, congratulations, and Jay, Amir, Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar, if you want to check, Lamar is he's a really, really respectful, educated dude. So episode 14 and 15, those were really good episodes.
Yeah. What's interesting about him is he's the kind of person that you can put him in any kind of environment. I feel like
he's going to survive,
well.
Yeah. And when I say educated, I don't mean like, I mean, he's book smart. I don't really know him that well, but as far as like business savvy and educated in the sense of being able to navigate through anything, he's in a league of his own as far as that.
I would say lastly that the episode where we talked about what divides us and brings us together. I like that episode too. The concept we talked about.
Let me look at the list then.
We didn't always have we didn't have the same answer on that one too. So
let's see what divides us.
That was good.
Just do my last scroll.
Dude. I'm not gonna lie, I think the episodes got really rich in content when we started going to one question a video as well. It kind of allowed us to focus in on one topic rather than balancing two. So we started our one topic per episode around episode 27.
Yeah.
So you guys will get a good amount of content, and you know, some of the topics you might not appreciate based off of where you're at, you know, either mentally or just what you desire to be informed on. But I think when we simplified it a little bit and allowed our minds to just flow on one topic at a time, it definitely made the episodes flow a lot smoother, and I think you guys appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, I do kind of miss like doing the more complex style episodes with multiple topics, because it allows us to address like, we don't ever exhaust a topic truly. Like, we'll talk about it, and then like when you're done talking about it, we can talk about something different. It also allows for the viewers a chance to experience other things. So you might not be interested in one of our topics, but something else in the same episode like, may directly pertain to you, and you might find some value from that.
Yeah. What do you guys think though? What is your favorite episode? Let us know, okay? Watch it. Comment. Tell us. Okay.
Share, whatever.
Exactly. But the next topic that we have, what's next for hip hop? What do you guys think? I feel you was really like passionate about this one.
I actually was.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah, extremely so. So the reason I posited this question was, so we have every week an album of the week. It's not necessarily like a rap album. We've had you with R&B albums. We had like the one that Watson gave was like an entirely different genre. I'm not sure, like exactly certain what we would call that.
We had guests too that had other albums too.
Yeah,
like KJ.
KJ, he's really far left with his musical taste. But yeah, so in terms of like hip hop or music is such a prevalent part of what we do. And we constantly listen to like new music, and we converse about it off script. Well, we don't have a script, but like off the show. And so I was just curious, like, what do you guys think is next in store for hip hop music, being that is the most prominent music genre that we're affiliated with?
In terms, I don't know what you mean exactly, like next as far as the content or trends. Well, I feel like it's going to become more diversified, to be honest with you. It's going to be more, not just, you're going to see more other races doing more hip-hop related things, and I feel it's going to be more, I'm not going to say it's more accepted that more races coming into it, but I feel there's going to be more races. It's going to be more diversified. They're going to try to more diversify it, as if they don't do it now already. But
why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel they are?
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's going towards it now. You feel there's a lot of like white rappers being more represented. I mean, you got I'm trying to a whole different other topic, but I forget what is his name. I want to call him Tenkaichi the whole time.
Tekashi.
Tenkaichi.
I want to call him Tenkaichi. Yeah, it's funny, but so him, he's in the media a lot. But it's just I just feel it's gonna go towards that, because, and also I look at really the commercial hip hop that is out more. That's more looked at, like Logic, and just it feels going to go towards more to that, if that makes sense. So that's what I mean. What do you think?
I think, and I was actually just talking about, I wasn't necessarily talking about rap or music, but we were talking about how, like, I guess the box fades are coming back. Like, people are starting to get box fades. And it kind of put into perspective how things truly go on cycle, because I can remember at the start of the decade, I was rocking a box fade. Like 2010 through 2011 or 12, even 13 maybe I had the box fade. So if I were to say, knowing that things truly go on cycle, I would say that at the start of the decade, we're going to hear a new sound that we haven't heard before. Because if we can think back to 2010, 2011, it was the start of like, West Coast mixtape artists. They provided that old classic sound. Like if you're familiar with Dom Kennedy or the early Kendrick Lamar sound, like they provided that carefree, life is flowing as it should. And then Kendrick Lamar provided that introspective. And I mean, on the East Coast, you had mixtape J. Cole as well before he dropped his debut album. You had Drake before he dropped Take Care. So he was in between his Thank Me Later, and I think he might have had a few singles at the time.
Those artists was more new though. Are you saying?
Yeah. We're gonna, like, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna hear a new sound, like
new artists and everything.
Yeah. Because you gotta think, like, when I say new sound, I'm specifically referring to ASAP. Like, if you remember 2012, ASAP provided a sound that I don't think, like, it was like they really brought Chopped and Screwed to like a I'm not gonna say commercial level because they didn't get airplay, but like everyone who heard of their music was like, holy shit!
So
like,
you said
they took this
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah. This was before ASAP Rocky. Like ASAP Rocky had his mixtapes, but early 2010s, like ASAP Mob was hitting. Like ASAP, this was like ASAP Ferg. Like when we first started hearing ASAP Ferg, ASAP Yams. I think it was like Nasty or something like that. I think there's like ASAP Nasty as well. Like they had joint mixtapes. Like they all were on one collective mixtape. They all had their own, New York Chopped and Screwed sound. I mean, anybody knows anything about Chopped and Screwed, that's like a down south thing.
Yeah, Texas.
So it's like an old concept but new sound. So I feel like someone's gonna take a concept that we might have heard in the 90s or a concept we might have heard through the 2000s, and they're gonna apply it to the start of this decade. Because I really feel like at the start of every decade we hear a new sound. Like if we think back to, I can't really think of the early 2000s, but I think early 2000s I think of like Jay-Z, Nas, I mean, we could say a little bit of Eminem, Ludacris, all that. And then at the start of the 10s, you switched it. Well, even at the end of 2000s, we had our B.O.B.s, and you had Lil Wayne on his hot streak. Like those were
the mid 2000s.
Yep. And then early 2010s.
Lil Wayne was mid 2000s.
Who?
Lil Wayne was mid 2000s.
Well, I'm referring to like the
was on
Carter
the
3,
rise,
like
yeah.
when he was
Carter 3 was
truly on
2006.
2008.
Well, 2000.
Yeah.
You
So
said 2000. I'm thinking you're saying 2010s.
No, I'm saying late 2000s.
Oh, okay,
and then we're
okay.
going into the 2010s. That's when you see that paradigm shift to Drake and A$AP Rocky, Kendrick, J. Cole. And I mean, you still got your legends, Jay-Z and all that. They're dropping, their last 1 or 2 or 3 albums, and it's picking up traction. Same thing with Kanye, but I think like anyone who is hot right now. So if I were to say anything, Travis Scott is going to be going into his point where he may produce his best 1 or 2 albums within the new decade. But I think it's eventually going to come to a point to where a new sound, I don't know where it's going to come from, I don't know what it's going to sound like, but it's not going to sound like anything that has been made before. The concept is going to be there, but like everything engineered and put together, it's going to be like, okay, like this is what I was talking about. Mm-hmm. And I think if you were like truly listening to, like, I'm not going to say underground hip hop, but mixtape, mixtapes when mixtapes were the shit at the time. Like this is when you had to get on, Spinrilla or Dat Piff and download them. I mean, we can't even forget Wiz Khalifa, because Wiz Khalifa was on fire the early 2010s. So it's going to be a sound. It needs to be a sound, because really the late 2010s, I mean, I don't think anything has really stuck. Like even, this past, the latter part of the decade, I can think of like your Kendrick album, your J. Cole album, your Mac Miller, your Travis Scott, but I don't think of anything outside of that. Like, of course,
Nothing
you got
aged well.
nothing aged well aside from those artists. And I mean, there's still some stuff that we can go back and listen to. That's not to say that they're the only
decade,
ones.
nothing aged well?
No, the latter part of the 2010s.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's always like a five. Like it's weird how like stuff splits up. Like literally, one half of the decade sounds one way, the other half of the decade sounds the other way. Because if you play like Jay-Z, for example, if you play Blueprint 3, it sounds completely different than in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Or even Blueprint 1, like
444.
yeah, like they. Well, 444 is 2010s, but your 2010s, but like, and I mean, even if we wanted to do that, 444 sounds different than Magna Carta Holy Grail, like this.
Yeah. But how much of that is hip hop and how much of that is just Jay-Z being a good artist and
no, it's hip hop because you have to. I would say sounds have to be with the times. Like I think we could say it's 50-50 because Jay-Z is big enough to where he can create his own sound. And it can mesh well with whatever is out at the time, like, because it's Jay-Z. Whereas some artists, like, if you have your ASAP Rocky, like, that sound had to be perfect. Like, it was different, but it was perfect at the same time to where you could appreciate it. Because it was, like, homage to down south, your Texas, mixed with, like, people that could actually...
I don't think I understand the sound you talk about when you're referring to the Blueprint 3. What sound are you talking about?
Well, I mean, my favorite song on Blueprint 3 is Already Home. And I mean, we can even think of like So Ambitious. Like when I think of Blueprint 1, I'm thinking like of like Jay-Z spits on he spits on all his albums, but I think Jay-Z became more open to hooks and all this other stuff as Blueprint 3 came on, whereas I mean on Blueprint 1 you had you had H to Izzo, and it had hooks, but we knew what we were getting like bar for bar on Blueprint 1, whereas like Blueprint 3 it had like a different sound.
When you say
Run This Town,
yeah, like it had a completely different sound.
When you say sound, I agree. When you say sound, I feel like I'm thinking you're talking about lyrics, like what he's talking about.
Nah, I'm talking about how everything is structured together, production,
the song structure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't think we would have heard Kid Cudi on Blueprint 1. We wouldn't. Well, Pharrell, we would have heard a Neptune's produced beat on Blueprint 1, but we wouldn't have heard So Ambitious, like Pharrell coming in and singing the hook in the bridge and all that on Blueprint 1.
Or even more so, like on to the next one on
like
Life and Times of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Volume 1, Volume 2, either one.
I agree with you, but I feel that's more Jay-Z, really, to be honest with you, because I mean, one of the songs on Blueprint 3, what we talking about, he's like, it's not in I don't know the exact line, but it's like it's not cool about burying your best friend, and he's basically talking about like that gangster shit is not cool. Basically,
the subject matter is an evolution of him as a person, but in terms of like what he created, the music itself, I feel like that was a reflection of the times itself. Because like the production was totally different. Like you said, he was more open to using hooks than it was just like straight verses.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a hip hop head. I don't really know. I'm not a hip hop head. I don't know. But what's up with you?
I was thinking, so my favorite rapper growing up, I had two, Busta Rhymes and Ludacris. And so what those artists have in common was they had the most entertaining music videos of all.
Yeah.
Like Missy Elliott as well, but I still like their videos better. Like Give Me Some More, that's a classic with the little blue gremlin chasing the people. And then like Ludacris will Get Back with the oversized forearms. And so now like you're seeing a resurgence in music videos becoming more entertaining, like with artists like DaBaby. I'm not a fan of his music, but it's definitely like a callback to that.
He's a funny guy.
Because like these past few years, I feel like even some of my favorite artists, like Kevin Gates, for example, he may have what's the song? Supposed to Be in Love. It's talking about domestic abuse, and the video details some of that. But most of his videos, they aren't necessarily narrative driven or that entertaining, or like someone like Drake, who the videos, they are just like them in front of like some models or something like that and some cars, and it doesn't really add much to the experience of the music. And I think that has a lot to do with the time that we're in too, because you look at how we consume our music. So earlier years, MTV and 106 in Park were very prevalent. People would watch the videos. They would tune in and vote for their videos to get number one spot, right? And so now with people streaming, like the video is less of a necessity for your single to be successful. And now it's just more so like an additive if you have like a dance to go with it, or if you just happen to be something that you're trying to promote at the given time. But I definitely do appreciate like a lot of the artists now who come out with like dope music videos and visuals to accompany that. Like I listed off a few here, like J. Cole, Wet Dreams. That was a really neat spin with the dogs. Mac Miller always had great videos. I can't remember the name of the song, but where he was walking and then like, he would stop and the person would step out their body and keep walking. And it had like the after image. That was real dope. Another one, Lil Dicky Pillow Talk. That video is crazy. You never seen it?
No, bro. I've never heard a Lil Dicky song in my life.
You need to watch that video. Who else? Yeah, it's just...
Or except that one song with him and Chris Brown.
What about the one with Snoop Dogg?
Never, none.
Okay. And then so I've been trying to listen to like more new artists and not be closed-minded because that's something I really don't like about other people. Like I tend to wish that other people were more open-minded, so I practice that myself, or at least try to. And so I've been hearing a lot about The Box, and I didn't know what the hell The Box was.
Oh,
Roddy Ricch.
Roddy Ricch, yeah, bro. That.
And so that sound that he was making, so I watched a genius breakdown of that. And so apparently that was a sound that he was making in the studio. They was all looking like he was crazy, but people thought it was like an engineered sound. Yeah. And so now I think that more artists are looking at their voice as instruments too. Because if you look at even a few years ago, I was never a Young Thug fan, but he's been credited by other people within the industry for using his voice in ways that other artists don't. Yeah. And I see that people are looking at more unconventional ways of creating music. And I think that's becoming more prevalent. I actually, that Roddy Ricch album, I liked a few songs off of it.
And I would say that it's a possibility that Roddy Ricch got that influence from Young Thug, because Young Thug has like a song called Submate.
Yeah.
And like he does something very, very similar with his voice at the start of the song. Makes it flow.
He sounds like Young Thug on... Have you heard Backseat with him and Ty Dolla $ign?
No.
There's a part where he's rapping and he sounded just like Young Thug. And he actually so he said he shouted out Slime Love all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He acknowledged that influence, I feel like.
So are you saying you feel like music videos are going to become more prevalent?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, don't see that.
Or at least more effort being put into them for entertainment value.
Okay, I can see that happening, but I don't know if people are actually gonna start watching more music videos though. If that's what
I mean, they still like. You gotta think if anybody's on YouTube, because
yeah, I was about to say.
I was gonna say my son watches 2 years old. He will literally sit on YouTube and just watch music videos. He won't go to ABC Mouse or any of that other stuff. He could literally sit on YouTube. Like his favorite songs are On the Way by Khalid, or he likes Future, he likes Drake, he likes Travis Scott. He can listen to those or watch those music videos and be on point with the ad-libs or in his own talk.
I mean, I'm not saying people are not going to watch music videos. Of course, they're still going to get depend on the artist. Of course,
you just don't think it's going to have that impact.
Yeah, not like it was with 106 in Park or MTV or nothing like that.
Yeah,
but
I think it's that 106 in Park wasn't just music videos. So it was like a talk show with music videos incorporated into it.
No, I ain't watching.
So there'll be. I mean, TV just isn't what it used to be at the same time either. So
YouTube is a monster. TV can't compete with it. Just with the sheer amount of content. Even what we're doing right now, it's we're able to produce content, brand new content, versus a TV show in the episodic. You have to wait for another week. So we follow that model, bro. But at any given time, we could just fire up an episode if we really wanted to. And then if you're tired of watching, if you're let's say you watch all of them, you can find something that wasn't new. There's always fresh content being generated, which is TV. You're split into that production cycle.
And TV is, I don't want to say a catalyst. It's not the word I'm looking for. I think they're they're someone who suffers from the streaming age. Because if you think about easiest ways with music, how short your attention span is when it comes to music, because new stuff is dropping on Apple Music, at a faster pace. So if you think you can go on Netflix and you can watch and you can binge watch that, then Netflix has thousands of other shows that you can watch. When you get into that cycle of just being on Netflix, Hulu, and even Disney Plus now, there comes a point where you're like, damn, I'm not even about to look at TV. Because if you think about it, on TV, you have your on-demand feature now, but you still have to wait for stuff to come on. 8 o'clock, How to Get Away with Murder. ABC has their 8 o'clock lineup or whatever it is. You still have to wait for that. And cool, the anticipation is there, but that anticipation is only there for like people in their late 20s, 30s, and 40s. Whereas people in your young 20s and your teens, you on Netflix or you're watching Power at 12 o'clock when it come out. You're not watching Power when it actually shows on Stars. Like it's one of those things to where if you're not using streaming in addition to your showing on TV, then you're hurting yourself.
There's a huge loss in your audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I'm not, what's the dude's name, Ted Turner or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to tell TV how to do their thing, because obviously if it's still booming, business is booming, then, you know, they're doing something right.
Television.
Yeah. Like
that could be because
networks.
That could. Okay.
Because you think about how many times like networks lose certain channels, like DirecTV. Like I can't remember what. Like if you think about Stars, like I think it was like right after Power was going on their little break, 50 Cent was pushing this thing like Comcast is about to drop Stars. Like it's not bringing in the revenue versus I guess what Stars or what Comcast pays to have Stars. So he was like, you know, call up your provider, say, you know, I want keep Stars. Like I want you guys to keep this program. So I'm thinking like if the network there, or I'm not gonna say network, but we could say network. So if the network isn't bringing in, you know, the revenue that I guess that the provider is paying for it, then I mean they can drop the network. Like if NFL Network, people just stopped watching NFL Network, and it was just like, okay, well it's not paying to, you know, for us to have it, and we drop it. Like if it's not worth it, like that's like an anomaly. It's never gonna happen because everybody watches football. Like the replays are there. You can do whatever you want to. They have pretty good talk shows to where it's not completely biased. Like you can watch it when you're bored. But then at the same time, you gotta think like your TBSs or whatever. If like people aren't interested in what you have, then I mean they could technically drop your network because it's not bringing in the revenue.
You actually bring up a really good point about like the TV advertising model. So it's revenue driven. TV content is 100% revenue driven, like commercials, like you said, network backing. Whereas something like us, for example, like on YouTube, we're doing this. We're not monetized. We're doing this. We're producing content. The content we create is what we want. We don't have to conform to anybody's standard of saying, well, I guess YouTube's terms of service and agreement. But it's not necessarily like them saying, oh, well, you have to talk about this week, or you can't say this, you can't say that. We talk about what we want to. We're creating this content. I feel like that's why TV's at a loss, because it's more filtered.
Yeah, that too. I think of that. I think because I was watching CNN like last week, man. I was just like, I can't believe I got a degree in political science.
Like they're just pumping
like
opinions through people.
Well, I'm not gonna say pumping opinions, but like, so anybody that watched CNN early 2010. CNN had Don Lemon on a like on a leash. Like he talked a certain way. He didn't necessarily. He wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't proudly black, but he wasn't boisterous. He didn't have that. You know, if you think about one thing about black people is black people always will speak their mind more times than not. Like it's like late 2010s, he got to a point where he started actually being more vocal, more around the time of the around the time where we had like a influx of like coverage of police killing black, you know, teenagers around the time of Ferguson and I wouldn't say necessarily the Trayvon Martin thing because that was still early 2010s, but around
the Trayvon get killed?
It was like 2000. I remember it was right after I graduated, so like 2013, 2012. It was early on.
Yeah, it was like 2012 actually. I remember.
Yeah. But it was like as that stuff started happening, February, it's like I don't know if CNN cut him loose or whatever.
February 2012. I'm sorry.
But he just like he just started being more vocal, and I was just like he doesn't have the knack for being vocal, I guess you could say. Like him being vocal doesn't benefit him. Like it's cool that you can say what you want to say, like people buy into it, but I'm like, is that truly authentic? Because when CNN had your ass on a leash, you were speaking a certain type of way, and now that it's released, you like it's kind of like those things that people that pander to a certain demographic. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel authentic. Whereas like you appreciate it more when he was on the leash because he was like, this is what we need to talk about. You talk about it this way, like just deliver the content. Whereas now that you're allowed to provide a little bit of personal insight, like yeah, it's cool to get that personality, but is your personality authentic kind of thing?
And you never completely know. It's more so like what your issue is that the question is drawn in the first place.
And it's like, I don't know if CNN's like, oh yeah, Don, people love seeing your little personality, and it's like, keep doing your thing. But I'm like, that shit is whack. Like, nobody wants to hear you bash Donald Trump for 3 years. Like, no matter how good or bad of a job you think you're doing, he's been doing the same thing for 3 years. Why are y'all still covering it from 9 to 5? Like, nothing's changed.
Like, there isn't a bunch of other stuff
like,
to talk about.
Because people want to know.
Thing is, like, I talked to my mom about this. I told her, I was like, and I know this is off topic from hip hop and all that shit, but I told her, I was like, love or hate Trump, he's never lied about who he is. He's always said he's a businessman. So if you know a businessman, there comes deceitfulness and there comes lies. So he's never truly lied about who he is. So why were you expecting something different? That's what I think. Like, even though it's the most powerful position in the world, he never lied about who he was. He never came out and said, well, as president of the United States, I'm going to act a certain type of way. Like, he still carried out his duties in the Oval Office like they were business transactions.
Are we expecting him to act different?
No. Well, I think there's people expecting him to act in a manner that is respectful of the Oval Office, where he never set that.
Expect or hope?
No, there's expectation.
I think what you're getting at is the fact that people are still surprised when he does things.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I say expectation in the sense of, we've seen Republicans and Democrats alike occupy the Oval Office, and they've all carried themselves in a respectful manner. I mean, you can say what you want to about the Clintons and, like,
Bush
people who's like, you can say what you want to about their scandals.
I know what you're talking about.
But at the same time, like, there hasn't been no circus, but he's never lied about it. Like, he's never came out and said, well, you can expect this. Like, people knew what they were getting.
There was a certain level of professionalism associated with the position.
I mean, we're dealing with a reality TV star billionaire. It's like having a Kardashian in office. It's like having a Kardashian in office and expecting them to be Michelle Obama. It's not going to happen. It's literally not going to happen. So we can't expect a reality TV star billionaire to come into the office and act like Barack or Bush or Bush Sr. He never put out that template. So why are we expecting that?
I'm not expecting that shit.
That's the thing. We're not expecting it, but people still talk about it like they're so surprised.
Nah, I'm not expecting that.
The thing is, though, like, you and I, we watch it and it's like, oh, okay, it's another Donald Trump story. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, but people genuinely, like, CNN, Don Lemon, they cover this stuff and they're so passionate about it.
But this is something they never seen before, so they have to cover it because they know people want to hear about it. They know people want to. They know people.
No, I understand that part, but then
like, what's Donald Trump doing? I mean, you can look at his tweets, but at the same time, it's much more entertaining when somebody Don Lemon on a television show. Did you see this guy today? Like,
you're saying it's the equivalent of, like, if the news channel freaked out like the world was ending every time it rained?
Yeah,
because it happens so frequently. Like, what is it for?
Nothing. Like, I guess it's, I don't know. But yeah, back to hip hop, man. What we talking about?
What's your question?
No, I was gonna say, did you have anything else to add about hip hop?
Anything else to add about hip hop? I'm just looking forward to, like, hearing new artists. Because I kind of have like fit into my own groove, and I know what I like. And like I said, I've tried to explore a few different ones, but I feel like I don't ever want to get stagnant when it comes to music.
You like.
We all do.
That's what I always tell people. Like what you like.
Any ones you suggest? Aside from, like, your album of the weeks have been, like, constrained to artists that I've already been aware of. Josh as well. I'm open to recommendations at this current moment.
No, I listen to a lot of the same stuff. Like, whenever I do bridge out, like, after it's to be, like, when on my own time, basically. Like, you can tell me to listen to so and so and so. Like, my friend told me to listen to the Fabulous album. I still haven't listened to that.
Summertime Shootout 3.
The new one, if that's his new one, I still haven't gotten around to do that. Like,
I
probably won't listen to it until honestly till like July, June.
I probably won't listen to it. I'm not gonna
that too because I heard it was kind of whack. But
I don't.
That and I heard it had autotune and everything, but that's another point.
Not that I heard. Well, I listen to half of it, so maybe on the other half.
Oh, you don't listen to half?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's like when I come around to listen to things, I actually listen to it, and if I do like it, like I'll play it over and over and over for like probably like a week or 2 weeks straight, and then maybe I'll get sick of it. Like I remember Jay-Z's 444, that album came out. I was listening to that like probably like a month straight, and I was probably and I was just like, I don't know what got me sick of the song, but right, something else came out, and I started listening to that.
Sick of what song in particular? Just the album. Or the album.
Well, the album in particular, but I really like the 444 song that he did when he basically apologized to Beyonce. Yeah. I like that song too. Because it was basically something different from Jay-Z. Like, oh shit, he's really like.
Not many artists, period, make songs to apologize.
True.
It's usually to diss somebody if they are acknowledging another person in a song.
Well,
shout them out.
I feel it's a little bit different R&B. You might apologize because you cheated. They have that song.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But a rapper,
Chris Brown, Damage. I remember that song. The Damage. Yeah. Yeah, it's always one of those songs up there. But yeah. Anything else you had to add about hip hop?
Nah. I mean, if we're gonna wrap it up, since we're not gonna be on the airwaves for 3 months, with it being January 14th, one thing I've been seeing is the gyms are packed, and I would just want to remind people that it is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't expect to lose the weight or gain the image.
Don't you want them to? Shouldn't you be saying the opposite so they can get the fuck out of the gym? So
No. Because I remember being.
Hey, I'm just trying to be honest.
I wasn't one of those people that got a membership in January. I got mine in June, so I was.
But
like,
you telling
like,
them. But you telling them this right now, not going. Like, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, think
maybe
about
I
it.
should
So
stay.
the people the people that are there in January are the people that are like just getting started. Like I look at your January newcomers as people that are just getting started in their fitness journey, and I always tell them, like, I don't always tell them, because one thing that I'll say is you didn't get to where you're at currently in 30 days. So don't expect to get to where you want to be in 30 days. Like, it's going to be a process. So one thing that people will, like, at work will ask me, like, well, what can you do for me in 14 days? Because we're about to go into our cruise and beach season. I'm like, there's nothing I can do for you, because for me, it took a year of getting injured, whether it be nerve damage in my shoulder or hairline fractures in my wrist or my collarbone, for me to actually get my form right. And then it takes another amount of time to get your diet right, because you get tired of eating the same thing. So then Chick-fil-A, whatever else, fast food you like to eat, that's when that stuff creeps back in. And then once you get all that stuff on track, it's like, all right, cool, I'm making progress. And then sleep comes into play. And then so once you start suffering one area, you divert more attention to it. So you have to, like, realize you're juggling a lifestyle, because at some point your fitness becomes a lifestyle. So if you're not willing to make the commitment to the lifestyle, then I would recommend you finding cardio
or find
a treadmill, or find a purpose, I guess you could say. Like, my purpose was I wanted to look good. Like, I'm pretty healthy. I have a high metabolism. Before I got into the gym, I was only 130 pounds. I'm 170 now. Even if it's what?
Even if it's clout? Even if it's clout? You said find your purpose, even if it's clout? What if they just want to do it?
Clout isn't a purpose, bro. Like, come on now. Hey, if you're doing it for clout, then that's not purpose. That's you doing it for acceptance.
That's why a lot of people are doing it, though.
I don't know nobody doing it for clout, to be honest. I think, like, we look at social media, and I think people are realizing that.
I think you're thinking about yourself, to be honest with you.
No, I'm saying, like, I know, like, you have your like fitness gurus on social media that have, like, your millions of followers and views on YouTube, and, like, I get it, but I don't think they're the organic, like, composite of why they started was done for clout. I think that
I'm not talking about the fitness gurus. I'm not talking about them that's like being trainer. Yeah, I'm talking about, like, the average person. I'm not talking, like, trainers that are they're doing it because that's their purpose.
Yeah.
They want to actually help people get fit. I'm talking about the people that are going in January. I'm talking about them.
I think they actually want to make an effort. So, like, one of the things about people just starting like New Year's resolutions, I used to be one of the people that would knock them, but at the same time, they're trying to, like, start something. They're trying to better themselves, and so, like, this is, if anything, we should be helping those people.
You should. You definitely should. But one thing I'll say, because you said New Year's resolutions, one thing that I think about resolutions, I don't knock them, but I say if you have to wait till January 1st, then you already lost.
Mm-hmm. That too, but you mentioned, okay, I'm sorry, but you mentioned summer body. That's what I'm talking about. Like, why are people in the gym? They're trying to do
anybody.
They're trying to do it for the summer body. They're trying to do it for Instagram. They're trying to take a picture and they're trying to put it on Instagram and then get them likes and then have somebody.
Well, people.
I don't necessarily.
That show is very quick because people who they're just doing it to look good for a cruise. That doesn't part of that lifestyle.
It literally dies
like
down.
They'll do it for that and then that's the end of it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's done for clout. I think it's done because they want to look a certain. I think it's done out of insecurity. I think they want to look a certain type of way, but they don't know the work that is required to look that type of way. So then they give up. Like I'm not gonna say it's hard work, but it's a lot of dedication and a lot of consistency. I mean, really, I feel like if you can stay committed to your gym or your training and everything that comes with it, I think it sets you up to be successful in other aspects of your life.
Yeah, but people just put it as a, like, not really a hobby, but, you know, just something I'm doing on the side. They don't think of it as a lifestyle, you know what I mean? Like, people at the gym, people that works out, you can tell a person at the gym, you tell that, this is their lifestyle. They're here.
Yeah, they eat, sleep, and breathe.
Exactly. They're here every day. I see this guy every day. Like, you can tell those people, but, I mean, I'm just talking about the people who don't look at it as a lifestyle. They just look at it as, I go to the gym on Tuesdays. What do you do?
People also have different fitness goals, too.
Yeah, that too.
People
have different fitness goals. So me and Martha, 7-year-old woman on the treadmill, she's trying to keep her cholesterol down. I'm trying to build up muscle mass and stay lean. Yeah. So of course our workouts and the amount of tenacity that we have with those workouts.
True, but Martha's not looking for clout though.
What was that?
But Martha's not looking for clout though. She's just trying to keep her cholesterol. She's actually looking for health.
Hey, our first episode in March is going to be about clout, man. We got to satisfy Josh's thirst to talk about clout. You said what?
April.
I said March?
Yeah, you said
April.
But yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap up this discussion though. What do you guys think though? What do you guys think the current state of hip hop? And if you guys want to talk about Donald Trump in the comments and clout too,
take it somewhere else.
You do what you gotta do.
Talk about if you want to talk about Donald Trump, talk about the current state of politics, not just Donald Trump.
Yeah, of course.
And then if you want to talk about fitness,
if you like Donald Trump, say why you like Donald Trump.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Yeah, of course.
We don't judge.
Not at all. But you got an album of the week for us?
Yeah. My album of the week is actually a Tribe Called Quest. It's Midnight Marauders. It's been an album that I've been listening to a lot. Has if you know anything about Tribe Called Quest, it's they have Electric Relaxation, which was the intro to the Wayans Brothers shows for a time, and then it has like a war tour, a couple other singles like Suck a Nigga. It's a really good album. Okay. It gives you that 90 flavor. And reason why I say that is because, like I said, I had that conversation where I think we're about I don't know if it's going to be like a resurgence of 90s trends, but I for whatever reason, I feel like at the start of every decade, we revisit the 90s. So if history truly repeats itself and things go in cycles, then we'll see like a resurgence of like 90s apparel and music. And even now, I've seen Spike Lee been doing like the 20th anniversary of Do the Right Thing, 20th or 30th anniversary. So
could this be because of our peak though? Like why you see every 90s, why you see like 90s in every new decade? Is that what you said, right? Yeah. Is that because we're like at our peak, like we're 90s babies, like so we're gonna display more 90s of what we grew up as we get older? Do you feel that?
Like nostalgia?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think 90s.
Because you can tell. I mean, you probably don't tell, but he has a Rugrats shirt on. He grew up watching Rugrats. He was more than likely a 90s baby. You know what I mean?
True. I'll say that, but I think the 90s set the tone for a lot of what we do today. Like if you look at your artists, they're inspired by stuff that occurred in the 90s. You think about the Jordan craze that is still there. You think about the 90s craze, like all that stuff originated either in the late 80s or throughout the 90s. So I think it's just the richness and nostalgia that comes with the 90s is why it keeps repeating itself, because it's the easiest thing to go back to and think like box fade, good music, shoes were at its peak, Jordan was at its peak, it was the introduction to the Kobe and Shaq era. Like it was just a really good time frame, like from beginning to end.
I guess. Got you. But yeah, anything else you gotta add before you don't see these beautiful people until April? No?
Looking forward to seeing y'all again.
Yeah. But don't forget to hit the like button if you guys like the discussion we had today. And we will see you guys in April. Don't go nowhere. All right?
Peace.